everybody.
Hi, everybody.
I'm Scott.
I'm John.
We're married. And this is our knitting show.
Although
I'm here to talk about crochet. It's
Yes.
a surprise.
we are...
To me as much as to anyone. Well, not really.
Right. No. I mean, we've always been welcoming of all.
What are you drinking?
I am drinking, this is mead from White Bear Meadery, which is a local mead place.
It's a local meadery. Mead place.
Mead establishment.
We did not make this mead.
We did not. This is called Midgard's Bounty, and it's got black currants in it.
We bought this one when we were there. Can I taste it? This is, do you remember? Oh my.
Yeah.
I think this one has a lot of tannins in it.
Yeah, it's got black currants in it. That's why I liked it.
Yes. Ooh. Tart.
That's a taste.
Yeah.
Well, because usually
It's
meads
good,
can be a
though.
little sweet, and this is very...
It's not too sweet.
Yeah, this is very... lots of feels on the tongue.
And I'm drinking this cider called Keepsake Cider from Dundas, Minnesota. I've never heard of Dundas, Minnesota. Our friends gave it to us for going and getting their car from the shop when they were out of town. So we are SweetTeaNoShade.
Mm-hmm.
I am SweetTeaNoShade on Instagram and on Ravelry and on TikTok. We don't have any TikToks.
We only watch TikToks. We don't make TikToks.
Yeah, that was a joke.
We're a little...
And you are?
I am on Ravelry. I am ILoveYouIKnow. No.
Yes.
ILoveYouIKnow. Right. And on Instagram, I'm Asbury. Azbury.
I thought you were John.
John Asbury, yeah.
You don't know anything, do you?
I mean, it's like knowing your own email address. Like, you don't send yourself emails.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it's all good. So yeah, here we are. It is the third week in October?
Sure.
Sure. We have both been on a couple of days staycation.
Week long.
So,
you have to work on Friday.
I work on Friday, but yeah, so it's Wednesday now, and we've had basically 5 days off in a row if you count the weekend, which has been amazing.
Yes. It has been amazing.
I encourage everyone to do this.
That can.
Not everyone can, but we've certainly, just from working from home so much, and with the way things have been, we just haven't taken that much vacation over the last year and a half, 2 years. So,
and we're both newly in management positions. For you, it's been a year and a half, and for me, it's been almost a year. So, new positions with more responsibility. It's kind of been draining.
Well, and it's also, I think it's really important to take time off and realize that the world does not fall apart when you don't go to work.
Right. That is very true.
I checked my email this morning for 20 minutes. But it was...
See, I think I'm going to log on later and give someone a job offer.
Okay, that's fun.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Because I don't want her to go somewhere else, and I don't want to wait till next Monday.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're in Minnesota, in the Midwest.
Yes. Upper Midwest even.
Upper Midwest even.
True North.
In Minneapolis, North Star State.
Yes.
True North. What is that? That's like the marketing
That's
thing
the
for
marketing
state
thing,
of Minnesota now these days, isn't it? City of Minneapolis. What else? We mainly do knitting.
Yep.
Although I'm going to talk about crochet today.
Yep.
And then, gosh, what was I going to say? So I've got a finished object. I've got some acquisitions. I've got a new cast on. I've got a work in progress. You've got 2 finished objects.
Yep. And 1 cast on and 1 work in progress. But I think the 1 work in progress is just that scarf I'm working on, and it's just getting longer.
Yeah.
So I might not talk about that. So,
well, and we should...
So I guess it's going to be your show tonight.
We should acknowledge the fact that lots of our friends are at Rhinebeck. Were at Rhinebeck.
Yeah.
And I'm just so happy for you all that you all had a great time.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm not jealous at all.
You know what? As I said, we had planned to go out to Fiberfest in Washington.
Yeah.
That would have been a few weeks ago. And the idea of traveling and making those plans just seemed a little much. And I think, did Fiberfest actually happen? I thought it went virtual. I can't remember.
I don't know. At first it was we were both kind of freaked out about the whole Delta variant thing and wanted to be responsible, although we're fully vaccinated and I have the booster even. But I'm kind of like I still want to be responsible and I still want to do all the appropriate things. We're wearing masks in most places, but it's that whole accepting a certain amount of risk and I don't know, figuring all that out. And so I was a little bit more freaked out about the Delta variant than I am now.
Yeah, I think when we were making the decision to go there, it was like late July, August.
Yeah.
And things are getting a little better here, which is nice. We'll see how it goes into the holidays, but
plus I work in healthcare. I'm not a healthcare provider, but I work in healthcare, and so I'm constantly every day getting stats of the fact that our emergency rooms are full and people are like they're putting people in the hallway because there's no room in the emergency rooms because the hospitals are full, and so I'm getting flooded with that information every day. So that's a little hard. To divorce yourself from that, but. Yeah.
But I think, it's all good. The thing about seeing all the Rhinebeck pictures, I'm like, oh gosh, I really want to go to that or something like that next year.
Yeah. Well, and it's crazy to see people that, especially the people that we have a knit night, that we have a Thursday knit night. We have not been good about going over the summer.
Yeah.
But there is a Thursday knit night that we know a lot of people from that group, and seeing them meet one another at Rhinebeck or hang out together at Rhinebeck was really amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
I was jealous, but at the same time, I was really happy to see them get to see one another. We've been really lucky in that we've met several other podcasters, most recently Justin and Caleb from the Bearded Pearl, who are just amazing people, and we've really hit it off with, and we're going to go hang out with them again in a few weeks, right?
In Chicago.
Is it a few weeks away?
Yep.
So yeah. So what was the other thing I was going to say about that?
Rhinebeck.
No. Oh, the other thing is that I've started getting, especially with this week off, I've started getting back into watching podcasts.
Right.
So there are several that I've always watched, Golden Girls, Bakery Bears.
Golden Girls?
Golden Girls, I almost say that every time. The ones that
Grocery Girls?
Grocery Girls, that's it. Oh my God. You're gay when. Tell me you're gay without telling me you're gay. But then, of course, there's, we have a lot of friends that have them. What is my point with this? Oh, I was just going to mention there was one that we had not seen that was new to me called Urban Yarn. And I've forgotten his name.
No, I don't.
He's on Vancouver Island. He lived in downtown Vancouver.
Right.
And so.
And he does both knitting and crochet.
He does both knitting and crochet. So that was cool to see a new podcast that I'd not watched. At some point I must have subscribed, because sometimes I'll hear about ones and then I'll subscribe, knowing that it'll pop up in my subscription feed on YouTube. So I just like to give a shout out to he started, I think,
2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah,
or a year and a half ago?
He was doing
he was getting ready to have his 2-year anniversary.
And it's funny because he was on episode 125, and God bless people.
He must do it weekly
or every other week, right?
No, because there's 52 weeks in a year.
Oh,
and
my
he's
goodness.
2 years.
God bless people who can do this consistently. We do not. So thank you for sticking with us in the times when we go months without doing a podcast. And it's just,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, so shout out to him. I wish I remembered his name. I should have paid attention to that. You're just making stuff up now. All right, so.
If it is, I'll get $1.
From who? Because I ain't giving you $1.
I don't know.
And the other quirky thing about our YouTube podcast, knitting podcast, is that we watch a Angela Lansbury movie. At least that's what we've been doing for a couple of years now. Trying to get through all the movies that Angela Lansbury has been in that are readily available.
Yep.
And so even a couple that are not readily available. And so we watched, for this most recent time, we watched Mutiny.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that at the end.
Right. And we've been not good about that either. So if people have been sticking with us on that, thank you.
Yeah.
We're back.
I do have a question for the group. So I've gone back and forth on this, and this is an admin thing. and it has to do with the comments on the episode. So previous to this summer, I would go through and try to make sure I either acknowledged or responded to every comment that we get, which it's not that time consuming. I used to try to respond to everyone, and then that got to be, because some of the comments were not necessarily looking for a response. They were just giving us feedback, and so I would acknowledge them by liking them or whatever. I'm curious, and then there's periods where we bring up the comments or go through the comments on the episode, and then there are, so then since we've been back podcasting for the last 2 or 3 episodes more regularly, I have not been reviewing or responding to the comments really at all. And so I'm curious what folks' thoughts are. Like, if I respond on YouTube, I don't know if it tells people that I've responded.
Yes.
I know I've heard that, but I want to hear what people's experience is. I mean, does it note? I know it. I think it pops up in your notifications, but I'm just kind of like, do people appreciate that, or is it kind of like that's not what you're doing it for? And then I really do like to try to pick out a few comments from the previous episode to kind of like follow through on conversations that we have, because it feels like more of a back and forth. I used to get paralyzed, and this goes back to my personality, but I used to get paralyzed and not want to record an episode because I hadn't reviewed the comments from the previous episode. And so I decided, screw that. I'm not going to let that hold us up from doing an episode. So anyway, I'm curious what people think about that in general. Parts of the process that you just don't care about.
I mean, I care.
It's not as interesting to you.
I'm happy to go along with whatever decision you make.
Oh, that's so smart of you.
It really is. When it's something I don't have a lot of not stake in, but like
feelings about.
I'm happy to defer to you.
Okay. Well, similar as when you go on a tangent about directors from the 50s and books.
Everyone loves that.
People.
What are you talking about?
It's you and Todd Michael Thomas. That's the only people who pay attention to that. I'm kidding. I feel like you're about to say something.
You're so mean.
The other thing I was going to say, I don't remember. But so let's talk about knitting stuff. Can I start with my new project, my new cast on?
Sure. I think the barricade of yarn.
Get the barricade of yarn out of the way. Exactly. So my first entree into the fiber arts was crochet. Both of my grandmothers crocheted. My mom crocheted. I don't know if there was anybody else in my family that I knew that. Probably my great aunts and uncle, great aunts, probably not great uncles, but great aunts and stuff that crocheted. And so I can't remember if it was my grandmother, my dad's mother, or if it was my mom. I think it might have been a combination of everybody taught me how to crochet. I remember my mom taught me to cross stitch, for sure, but I'm not sure about crochet. And I've knit a handful of Afghans. And to be honest, really the only thing I enjoy crocheting is Afghans, because I love the finished product. I like hats and mittens and everything else knitted, but I like crocheted Afghans. And so I have been wanting for a while now to do another Afghan. And so I went on to Ravelry. We were at brunch. We were at the gym, and then we went to the brunch. And then I was like, let's go to Joann's and get yarn. I want to do an Afghan. And so John's like, okay, Scott. So we went to Joann's, which is a chain store in the United States. And I say that because we have a portion. I always say things that I'm like, people just roll their eyes and say, why everybody knows what Joann's is. But there's like a high percentage of our viewers that are not from the United States. Right. I don't know if they have Joann's in other countries. But anyway, it's a big box retailer that has all kinds of
if you want to craft, they have it for you.
They have it. Beading.
Every time I go there, I always like go through one thing. I'm like, oh, it'd be really fun to do that, and then I never pick anything up because that's dangerous. Cricket? Isn't it a sewing thing?
I thought it was a scrapbooking thing.
I have no idea.
I thought it like cut stuff out.
I don't know. I thought it was like I'm going to say something, but I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So anyway,
there's
a whole cricket line at the Joann's.
I always think about.
I'm sorry for the creaking chair.
Yeah, what I always think about is when they have the looms where you can just make the socks like that.
Are you talking about a knitting machine?
No, where it's basically it's not a knitting machine.
Oh, it's like you're manually.
Yeah,
but that's for like scarves and stuff.
They have round ones too, I think.
Oh, do they?
Maybe.
Like a crank? I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know. It seems like they have those.
So we were at Joann's, and they built a new Joann's in Egan, which is actually is Apple Valley. It's a suburb not too far from us. And so we went down, and I had gone there with my friend Shannon, and she's making costumes for her twin boys. And so and their grandmother watches our show sometimes because she's a very experienced knitter. So she and I went there because I just love to go places like that, and she wanted to get fabric, and so then it was a brand new Joann's or newly remodeled or something, and it's really cool, isn't it? So they have a huge wall of yarn, and it's, most of these big box places, they carry 100% acrylic. Sometimes there's some wool mixed in, but mainly it's 100% acrylic. And that's what I wanted to get for an Afghan anyway, because it's easy to wash, and it's sturdy, and it's less expensive, and all of that. So I go on Ravelry, and I've never looked for a crochet pattern on Ravelry, but I just looked up crochet Afghan, and I don't know why this one popped up. I don't remember how I had it sorted, but it popped up, and I was really interested in it because it's called the Crochet. It's from Interweave, which is a company, and it's called the Crochet Chain Reaction Afghan Project. I'm going to insert the thing in there, but it's what is it? 20 square? No, 5 times. What is that? 5 times 4. It's 20 squares, and I think it's either 20 different designers or it's a handful of designers, and each designer designed a couple. I can't remember. And I think there was something about this was like 10 or more years ago that this came out, and it was like a crochet along, and it was like I don't think it was a mystery knit along or a mystery crochet along necessarily, but they released it in. It says we provided pictures and patterns for those 10 in the summer 10 and summer 2010 and fall 2010 issues of Interweave Crochet. And then they had the readers of the magazine design some and submit them, and 10 of the readers' design squares were selected. So it came out over 4 issues, so actually over a year. And then I think they donated them. It was like a donate them to charity kind of thing. But anyway, so this one popped up, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Rather than doing, the one that a lot of people do, which is the zigzag one, which I've done that one before. I'm like, I'm going to do this one. Of course, it's the world's hardest pattern. It's not really. It's just all you've ever done is the basic crochet stitches. Trying to do these. I mean, the first square was a bunch of circles and enclosed in. I'm going to show you this in a minute, but it was like, good Lord, I picked the hardest thing. So then start reading it. Having knitted for the last
several years
and not crocheted. I've never crocheted anything since I've been with you, right?
No, you were crocheting.
I crocheted that other
Afghan.
Oh, and then I crocheted that Afghan for Sean and Andrew.
Yes.
That was when we first got together.
That was the squares.
Yeah, so it's been at least 8 or 9 years since I've crocheted anything. So I'm trying to remember what a half double crochet is, half double crochet stitch and all that. So anyway, called Betty Ann, who's my mother, and she, sometimes just talking it through with someone else helps figure stuff out. So I figured out the beginning. This is a free pattern, so I'm going to talk about it openly because I'm not giving away details of a free pattern. But the very first, I'm getting ahead of myself. The first square is called Circles Squared, and it's by a designer named Kathy Merrick. I've almost finished it. I did not do it quite right, which you'll be able to tell probably when I hold it up, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So this is what the square looks like, and you can see this part kind of doesn't lay flat. And it's because
blocking will help everything.
Well, but this is acrylic. It's not going to block out. But
you can steam it a little bit, I think.
But regardless, I did it wrong.
Irregardless,
I did it wrong. Betty Ann, I love that you said that. So I've still got a couple more rows to do of the outside, but these circles, so the 8, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These 8 I attached at the wrong spot. So that's why there's a big hole, and it is janky. So I'm not going to fix it. I'm not going to change it. It'll be fine. It's an Afghan. You're just going to cuddle up in it. But yeah, so it was fun. It was very fun. I forgot how much I love the motion of crochet, because it's, especially as you get more used to it, it's like, it's just fun the way you can, I don't know, it's fun.
I can only do chains and that with much sadness.
Right. So and it's kind of like knitting, where as you get more
muscle memory,
yeah, it's like you don't even know how you did it.
Right.
So it's like with half double crochet, you have to do a yarn over and then go through and then pull it through and then pull it through all 3 stitches, and it's like you're doing all this, you don't even think about it. So let me talk about the yarn. So the yarn is a mixture of Red Heart and Caron. And so I didn't pick the colors that they wanted they called for in the pattern. I basically changed, instead of orange, I'm doing brown, and instead of purple, I'm doing dark gray. But all the other colors are what they called for. They're just maybe a little more muted, because I kind of wanted darker, more muted colors. So the Caron are the 1 pound Caron yarn inspirations, 100% acrylic. It's 812 yards per skein. And so I got the colorways of Claret, and then this one is Cape Cod Blue, and then this one is Dark Gray Mix. I don't know why it's called Mix.
Is it a little tonal?
No.
Okay.
I don't know why it's called Dark Gray Mix. But anyway, so those are and you'll see there's none of the dark gray in this square. I think there's maybe a row of it coming up next on the border, but I didn't use that color. Or this square did not call for. This would have been purple, and it didn't call for that. Then for Red Heart, I've got 3 more colors, and that is Red Heart Super Saver, almost 200 grams. It's 198 grams, and then it's 364 yards. This is Light Sage. This is Cafe Latte, and this is Light Gray.
Okay.
So those are the colors that I picked and the yarn that I picked. And then this, like I said, this is the square. And so what's
is there a wrong side to crochet?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they I don't know.
Because the side facing us right now looks a little.
Well, you see how there are stitches on this that lean forward.
Okay.
The outside stitches, the half double crochet stitches, lean forward towards the right side, I think.
Sure.
But I don't know enough to know the answer to that.
Okay.
But what's interesting is and like I said, this is a free pattern, so I'm going to talk about it. It says these were the first instructions I saw. Now, keeping in mind, I haven't crocheted anything for a long time, and I'm typically a knitter. With B, which is one of the light gray, wrap yarn around index finger 3 times. Slide resulting circle off finger. Slip stitch in circle.
I don't know what any of that means.
That was my reaction.
So it was funny because at one point you were kind of stuck in the pattern.
I was going to talk about that.
Okay.
But go ahead, because there was another time when I asked, I had to talk it through with John. And
right, and it was just like... So there's a Twilight Zone episode
Okay.
Where this person wakes up one day and all of a sudden, like, words mean different things. So it's still English, but it's like, people are like, Wednesday horse, carriage dog. And that means we're going to the store. That's my level of comprehension of what a crochet pattern is. Like, I recognize all the individual words, but they mean nothing.
I feel like Nancy needs to make a pattern called Wednesday horse, carriage dog. Okay, so wrap yarn around index finger 3 times. Slide resulting circle off finger.
Onto what?
Exactly. Slip stitch in circle. Well, first of all, I couldn't remember what a slip stitch was. And so I'm like, okay, well, this is creating a circle. So I'll watch some YouTube videos about creating a circle. Mm-hmm. Well, they all have this thing called, in crochet world, it's like this thing called the magic circle or the magic ring. Mm-hmm. And it's like how you create a circle.
Sure.
You can do circles in different ways with crochet, but that's a really common one where it's like this, but there's no hole in the middle.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm not going to talk about something I don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
so,
why
start now?
Right, exactly.
So I called Betty Ann and I'm like, I don't.
What?
I remember. Okay, this reminds me of when I was growing up. And my grandfather used to always say, shave and a haircut, 2 bits, which is the dun 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 dun. Those are the words to that. And I was always like, 2 bits of what? And it reminds me of like, slide it off your finger onto what?
Right.
So like exactly what you said. So what I realized was, I feel like crochet's a little more Wild West than knitting. So you wrap the yarn around your finger 3 times, and then you slip stitch to basically catch the 3 yarns into a group.
Yeah.
And the 3 times you've wrapped around your finger become the guts, the inside that you knit around.
Because, like, all right, here's my understanding of crochet.
Because there's chaining, but you don't have to do chaining.
Right. With knitting, you are knitting. Okay. You're knitting onto live stitches, right?
Right.
That's what you're doing knitting, and that's why when you drop a stitch is so deadly.
Right.
With crocheting, you're always knitting onto a fabric. Whether it's a chain or whether it's whatever, you're knitting onto something as opposed to... And that's why you can pull crochet out really easily without losing your mind.
I don't know the right way to say it, but it's like you stitch into previous stitches. You typically only... Now, I'm going to say this.
And your stitches are not live.
Well, see, that's what I was going to say, but I'm sure there's a wide range of crochet where there's live stitches that... But
because you don't always...
Any crochet I've ever done, the only live stitch is the one that you just did.
Right, because you often will knit onto not live stitches.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm assuming there are times when you have live stitches in crochet.
I don't know.
Who knows?
But so, yeah, and I messed up this so many times. And did I have to tank back? No. I just literally got my scissors out and cut it out.
I know.
And I was like, that's done. I'm doing that over. Or I'd be like, oh, I messed this up. And I would literally just pick it up and go, nope, I'm just going to rip this out and like redo it, which I just undid like 8 stitches, but it's going to take me like 5 milliseconds to do those 8 stitches again. So I forgot how forgiving crochet is compared to knitting in a lot of ways. So anyway, it's been a lot of fun to get back into this, and I'm really excited to do all 20 squares. I think this square was particularly difficult, although it says it's a 2 out of 4 for difficulty, and there's a 3 out of 4 difficulty coming up. Great. Oh God, and there's one with a chart. Oh, it's gonna make me cry. And the thing is, this came with a DVD that you could watch. They demonstrated how to do everything. Oh. But I can't find the videos online anywhere.
You would think that some enterprising crafter would have posted that somewhere.
I mean, I looked up the name of the pattern. I looked up the designers. I looked up Interweave.
Did you go on eBay?
I have not gone there yet. But it was funny because if you go into the pattern on Ravelry, there is a link to where you can buy the DVD. but it's a dead link. So, if anybody has the DVD for this project and you want to sell it to me, just let me know.
Or you want to download it, put it in Dropbox, and give it to us. That would work too.
I'm not going to be rude that way. I'm going to offer to pay someone.
Yeah, no, we would pay them for the download and put it in Dropbox.
Oh, well, yeah, but you'd have to convert it from a DVD to an MP4. I'm not going to, no.
Okay.
Anyway, so, it's been a lot of fun. I think I'll probably do a square and then stop and work on other things. And then come back to it.
Mm-hmm. This one took you 3 days?
Yeah.
No, because we went to Joanne's on Saturday.
Yeah, it took me several days. I think a lot of the reason was because I was remembering how to crochet. Right. Because it was like, okay, now half double crochet, and I was like, what? I don't remember what that means. With the half pike. I'm not competitive diving. I'm just crocheting.
I feel like crocheting sound like diving.
Yeah. Because there's single, double,
right,
half double, with treble. Yeah. So I'm remembering now what all this means. And then also I'd forgotten that there's the British terms and the English, or the British terms and the American terms are different. So like a double crochet in the United States is a treble crochet in England, or so, there's some difference like that. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I'm excited. It's been fun.
Cool.
Keep going.
Excellent.
Your turn.
All right. So I will talk about my finished object. This one I don't have anymore because I've already given it away as a gift. But this is my Paragon toque that I was making for our friend Shannon. It was maybe 3/4 of the way done last podcast. It's now done.
Which one was this? Why am I blanking?
This is the purple one. That looks like it's cable, but it's actually just done with a thumb.
Are you sure it's purple?
Yes. Because it was a Trilogy Yarns colorway. It's like violet or something like that.
Okay. Gosh, why am I not remembering that at all?
And I put the purple pom-pom on it that had the thing on it.
Yeah, I believe you.
Okay.
And you have a picture to give me, right?
Yeah, I've got finished stuff on Instagram and stuff like that. So,
why
yeah.
am I not remembering that at all?
I don't know. It makes me kind of sad.
Very focused on myself.
You're like, oh, crochet.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's been a while. Like I finished it like right after we podcast last time.
I literally have no memory of it.
With the purple poofy pom-pom that I bought at Darn It Anyway.
I remember the pom-pom and I remember the snap and all that, but I don't remember the hat.
Okay.
And I even remember that had these faux cables, but I don't remember what they looked like. I remember everything about it except for what it looked like.
Well, it's a good thing we have pictures.
That's so weird.
So anyway, so yeah, that one is done. Has been gifted to the appropriate person. They liked it a lot, which was really nice. And you can see the pictures.
Yeah.
I don't have the ball band. I don't know. I know it was Trilogy Yarns. I don't remember what it was Elizabeth. It was the Pride and Prejudice colorway.
Mm-hmm. Was it variegated? Or was it a solid?
It was variegated. It had it was like a lavender with dark purple and lighter stuff.
Yeah.
And you almost had some like pooling in it, but not quite.
Yeah, I can't picture it.
It's okay.
All right, so I will have inserted pictures. Oh, one thing I was going to mention about the crochet thing was that I have never paid attention to what crochet hooks I buy. I've just always bought whatever was in front of me or just had some that were my grandmother's. But I bought what I thought was the hook size for the pattern, and then I discovered that there's a myriad of hook sizes that are needed. Oh, here we go. So this one, I have a whole bunch of crochet hooks from when I crocheted in the past. This is the brand is Boye, Boye, and it's J, which is a 10, which is a 6 millimeter. Mm-hmm. So that's what I did for this square. But then I bought one from Clover that was at Joann's, and it has a handle on it, and it's an H. And it's 5, which is 5 millimeters. I think that's a H. Is that an 8 or a 12? I don't know. I don't know enough about hooks, but I've never had one with a handle, which when I've seen people on or on YouTube who are crocheting, they all have these fancy handles and stuff like that, but I've never used one with a handle, and I just use janky, regular old school ones, but we'll see.
It's all good.
All right, so then I will talk about my finished object. So this is the Amalgre hat by Clammer. Can you fluff it or adjust it if it needs it? Thanks.
I mean, I don't know. It's a little...
So I started this a long time ago. And my goal right now is to find... I think we've talked about this before. We have a decorative ladder that all of our works in progress are hanging from.
Yeah.
And my goal is to go over there and find ones that are in progress and finish them.
We'll talk about the... Anyway.
What?
Well, we were talking the other day, I'm like...
Oh, for the Afghan.
Where's your Alaska hat?
Is it in there?
I don't know. I didn't look through all of them.
I thought you were gonna...
No, but it was just funny because like we have...
you know what? I think it's in that Orange Theory bag.
Okay. It was just funny because we were talking about projects. I'm like, oh, and I was like, what happened to that hat? And Scott's like, I don't know. Like,
I got a lot of projects that I just have started and never finished.
I know, me too.
Because I keep going back to socks. But
yeah.
Anyway, this is the Amalgre hat by Clammer. I made a significant number of mistakes with this hat.
I'm going to move some of this out of the way.
Oh, yeah. No, just give it to me and I'll put it over here. So I have made a significant number of mistakes with this hat, but I found this pattern to be I found the pattern difficult to understand. Once I understood it, it was not difficult and easy to memorize and fun, very fun. And it makes a really cool fabric, but it was easy for me to misunderstand.
Right. Well, I think the problem with this hat, at least I feel like you started it, figured it out, and then took a 6-month break, and then came back and to refigure it out.
Yeah, at least 6 months.
Yeah.
Because there's one row in here, kind of like right in here, which I'll show closer up pictures, but it's kind of in the middle of the hat. And I did a round and doubled the number of stitches, because every stitch I picked up a stitch or added a stitch. And so I ended up with because this is like 80 some stitches cast on, and it was like 160 some stitches.
Right.
So then I had to, the next round, because the stitches are complex, where for example, you're knitting two together but not slipping them off the needle, coming back and knitting in between those two stitches, and then pulling all of them off the needle. And so there's all of these left twist and right twist stitches, and knitting back or tinking on that is I find it's extremely difficult.
Knit back cables, it's just awful.
Right, exactly. So rather than knitting back on most of this, I just said screw it. So the next round I decreased down to the right number of stitches. Right. You can't tell.
No.
You can tell that the pattern is not quite right.
It's a little more free form than I think the original pattern was written.
Yes, it's a little more free form, but it's warm. It's functional.
And it's not pretty.
It doesn't pull weird.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's all kind of, it works. I mean, I've worn it because we've had a couple cool days.
Yeah.
The other thing I did too was that she calls for the brim to be a 3x1 rib. But I am obsessed with knitting we talked about this before. I think this is a 3x1 rib. But what I did was I knit twice the length that I needed, and then folded it in half and knitted the stitches together.
Yep.
So that I picked up a stitch from the cast on edge and knit it into the next row.
Yep.
So that I end up with a double. That just makes all the difference in the world to me when I wear hats.
Yeah.
And so unless it would be totally wrong or look weird, I'll probably do that on every hat I ever do. Because
Yeah.
it makes all the difference in the world. So I'm done with it. I've got a finished object.
What yarn did you use?
This is October Sky colorway by
Blue Sky Fiber
Blue
Arts.
Sky Fiber Arts, which is also Blue Sky Llamas or something. It's also Spud and Chloe.
Yeah. This is their Woolstok.
This is their Woolstok base.
Yeah.
Which is a non-superwash.
Yep.
I've not blocked it.
Oh, you haven't?
No, which I need to do.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what happens to it when I do that. But yeah, so it's great.
It is fantastic. It's a very cute
I love
hat.
the color.
Color's great. Speaking of colors, so I did this hat, which is, like, pull the pattern really quick.
I bought that kit.
I bought that kit.
No, you didn't. I bought that kit when Blue Sky Fibers had their trunk show. Their big.
Are you sure? Mm-hmm. Like, I bought it.
Does it matter? It's all the same.
No,
money.
you bought the cowl.
You're right, I did.
And I bought this one. So this has been this is the 21 color Slouch. It's by Virginia Sattler-Reimer, I think. Reimer.
That is who it's by, but you're not sure that's how it's pronounced.
That is, yes, sorry. That is, I am reading it. You have to hold a little way to read it, but I am reading it the correct name, the correct person, wrong pronunciation. And it is done with Blue Sky Fiber Arts, Woolstok. And it's this really fantastic thing. And basically, they gave you 21 mini skeins.
And I think at the time it was every colorway.
Yeah, they had just started, I think they had just started this thing. And they're like, here are all our colors. Have a nice day. This hat was so much fun to do. So
that just seems not your style, not something that you would enjoy. Because I don't think you like. Well, that's not true.
I like color
you don't
work.
like futzy stuff, but you do like futzy stuff.
I like color work a lot.
Well, that's not color work.
Yeah. The thing I didn't like was weaving in all the ends. That was a little...
Because there were 42 ends to weave in, at least.
At least. But what I did... So anyway, it's just... This is just fabulous. I like... This is kind of... I don't know if you can see like the front of it. The top is really cool. And it was really, really fun to do. It's a slouchy hat, which is not really my style, but it's okay because I'm making it for someone else. Is it cute?
It is. It's going to look really good on her.
Yeah. It's for our friend Tracy. And basically, we've been knitting hats for our neighbors and friends. And this is the one that I'm like, this is Tracy's hat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really, really, I enjoyed doing this. The thing that was really just great is the color combinations are, I don't know if it's because they're all kind of, it's a set of colors, but the colors all sort of have the same saturation. So
that's what I would say.
And what I loved is just watching them sort of like, you have this greenish yellow next to this blue, next to this light blue, next to this thing. And so like the way they put the colors together, hey, I have colors.
What?
You were making fun of my color blindness.
I was sitting here with a smile on my face being a nice, supportive husband.
Uh-huh.
What is that reaction about?
Nothing. So anyway.
I mean, if that's what you want to call green.
You don't know what I was pointing at. This is what this I was pointing at right here was called Golden Meadow, which is a greenish yellow to me.
That is a greenish yellow.
Ha! So anyway.
Who mistreats you that you react this way?
Who do I live with?
Okay, sorry. Harris, the dog.
Harris. Oh no.
Woke him up.
Yeah.
Okay,
go back to bed, buddy. So it was really fun. I'm going to show you the inside out because I think that's really fun too. So yeah, it was really fun. Weaving the ends in was a little atrocious, but I just sort of did it. It was fine. And so, and I don't know if y'all can see this. I had a little bit, the jogless joins became a little less jogless. I'm not sure.
Jogful.
You can't really do a jog. Maybe they're always do it. So the way I was doing it is you basically.
There's something about a slip stitch.
You slip. So basically, when the second row of a color, you slip the first stitch, and so what that does, it kind of makes it even. The problem is you can't do that. There are a lot of one color rows, so you can't really do it on those. And so I don't know if that made things worse. So it's not bad, but you can definitely tell where the seam is. But it doesn't matter. It also doesn't matter.
I mean, that's
doesn't
what's
matter.
cool about
doesn't matter.
Well, that's what's cool about homemade knitted hats.
Yeah.
So thinking about this, like, I don't know that one of my double brims would work really well for that hat.
Right, as I was going to say.
Yeah.
And so so this is again with the same.
Yeah.
So this is October. This stripe right here is October sky.
With this, which is what I knit this in. Yeah.
What this made me want to do. So anyway, super fun. This made me want to do a yoked Icelandic sweater real bad. And so what I was thinking I will do is I'm going to take one of the color combinations on this. Probably this. I can't remember. I like the bottom color, which is called cast iron. So these bottom three, like cast iron, this red, this green, and this light gray, and this yellow. I'm thinking about using those 4 colors for a yoked sweater. Just because I know those colors go well together. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be great. I'm going to do Prismatic Dusk, which is...
Is that the one Justin did?
No, this is the one... I don't know if you did it or not. Harris, stop picking up things you shouldn't pick up with your mouth. Thank you. You're a good boy. We love you.
Prismatic Dusk?
Prismatic Dusk. It's by Rosso Cardinale.
Rosso Cardinale.
And apparently it's the first... pattern he ever designed. Sweater ever designed.
Oh, that's right, because he was interviewed or he posted on Instagram.
No, he was interviewed in this magazine.
Oh, that's right. Okay, we'll talk about that.
Anyway, he's a designer I've always really liked. I also think he's really cute. So that...
I'm sitting right here.
He looks like you.
I think he's really cute, too.
Yeah. Anyway. Just be glad that he's, that's my...
He's bald and has a beard. That's about as close as that's about it. That's about all we have in common.
You know what? It's enough.
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, so I've always really liked his stuff. He does a lot of really cool stuff, but I've always really liked that sweater. So I think I'm going to find... Once I finish with my current project, I'll probably have my next sweater project. So if I want to make a yoke sweater real bad, and I like how these colors all go together, and I think it's also nice. I really liked knitting with this a lot. And it didn't grow very much when you blocked it, because it's 100% wool.
All right.
And this would be nice and cozy too.
John does know that he wants to knit a yoked sweater really badly, but I want to knit a yoked sweater real bad. That's from Napoleon Dynamite.
No, Legally Blonde.
And I was like, my lips hurt real bad.
No, makes me want a hot dog real bad.
Makes me want a hot dog real bad.
I've never seen Napoleon Dynamite.
What?
I started it and I got annoyed.
Okay, we're gonna have to watch it
Maybe.
tomorrow. We'll watch it tomorrow.
Maybe.
Watch it tonight. It is so hilarious. The 4th time you watch it, it's hilarious. The first 3 times you're like, what the hell is going on? Okay, so...
we can talk about that some other time. We don't need to have a Napoleon Dynamite
breakdown.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any more patterns or many more projects to show?
I have 2. Oh, I want to show one more thing. Sorry. This is really fun with this one. So here are all...
The remnants?
The remnants. So, like, this is just... I don't know. Really, really, really fun.
Why?
It just is. These are all the little... what I had left over. I only had to play Yarn Chicken twice. And at one point, you can't really see it, but this stripe right here, I ran out, and I just went to the next color. So
that's weird. But you wouldn't have enough.
I think I did. I think my tails were too long.
Oh.
So.
That'll happen.
Yeah.
Is that color the same as that color?
Yes.
So you reuse... Oh, and it's there too.
Yeah.
Oh, so you reuse the colors?
Yeah, there's some
throughout it.
There are some colors that are more popular than others.
Got it.
So that red, I think it's called Red Roof or Rusted
orange.
Roof.
It's an orange. It's orange. It's not red at all.
Rusted Roof.
Okay.
Red
tin roof.
Rusted. That was a popular color. Others weren't used as much. So, but I loved. Yeah, I really enjoyed this hat.
Cool. Rusted roof. Yeah.
Rusted Roof.
All right. So I'm going to talk for like very quickly about my work in progress, and that is this sock. I haven't gotten very far. I'm on the gusset decreases. It's a pair of socks I'm doing for my mom. It is Apple Sky Fibers is the yarn. So this is their Macintosh base, which is 20% superfine alpaca, 60% merino, 20% nylon. So it's like a sock base. And then this is a, what is it called? Mohair, which the main thread is silk, and then the mohair is the fuzz. And it's a similar, it's like Glacier or something. I can't remember what the name colorway is, and I don't want to pull it out because it's too difficult. But bottom line is I'm holding them double to make really fuzzy socks, and as Justin from, I was gonna say Busted Pearl.
The Busted Pearl.
Bearded Pearl said, Betty Ann's gonna put these on and go ass over tea kettle and fall over as soon as she puts them on. But, you know, I'm not trying to sabotage Betty Ann. I would never do that.
Right.
And irony of all ironies, this is in my Busted Pearl bag. All right, so I have some acquisitions. Do you have any more projects?
I have a work in project and some acquisitions.
Okay, work in progress.
Yes.
Do your work in progress.
All right. So I have one thing that I'm working on. It's called the Caden scarf.
Oh yeah.
We're not going to show it because all I've done is add another 4 inches to it. So that's not interesting. But it's still happening.
It's a scarf and it's knit in black. Raven.
Right.
Is the colorway.
But what I have started, this is super fun. I started a new sweater.
That's right. I keep forgetting you did this.
So this is sweater is called The Drake by Todd Gocken, and it's just a simple stockinette knit.
Where did you hear about this?
I just saw it on Ravelry one day, and I kind of liked it. So it's basically been in my kind of like sweaters I want to knit for a long time. And so basically it is a bottom-up knit sweater, and what's kind of fun about it is what it does, and I've read the pattern, I'm not sure. So instead of doing raglan decreases that go like this, they kind of go straight up the arm to do the decreases in the shoulder. So it's like a really cool inset. We'll see what it looks like when it gets done, but I've always really wanted to make it, and so I have done one sleeve. Ta-da! And the yarn I'm using is Croft Shetland Tweed. It's 100% Shetland wool. It's from West Yorkshire Spinners. And the color base that I'm using is called Mossbank. So I have a sweater's quantity of this. And yeah.
Where'd you buy the yarn?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I do not remember.
Are the needles still in there?
No, this is on waste yarn.
Oh, that's right, because you finished the sleeve.
Yeah. So what's kind of fun about this is I'm doing, anyway, I love how this looks. I think it's going to be amazing. And so when I did gauge, I'm a little above gauge, like just an ittle-bittle. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing the medium as opposed to the large. So I see what you mean. There was a 42 and a 46 inch. And usually I do 44 inches for the last sweater was a 44 inch, which is perfect.
So you're doing the 46 inch.
No, I'm doing the 42 inch.
Oh, because your swatch was bigger than it should have been.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So
So you're doing the stitch count for the 42.
For the 42-inch medium, knowing that when I block it, it's going to be a little larger.
Gotcha. Cool. That's smart.
Yeah. And so one sleeve. And yeah, it was kind of fun. So I don't know if folks remember, but I've had issues with doing sweaters before, and then I block them and they become enormous. So what I'm doing with this one is, number one, this is just regular wool, so it's not going to grow as much.
Right.
But I've actually counted for the growing a little bit in how much length I'm knitting.
Got it.
So it's kind of fun.
Because when you blocked the swatch, it grew.
It grew. So yeah. So like basically the swatch was 8 inches per stitch with pre-blocked, and then blocked it's about 8 inches per stitch.
You just repeated yourself.
No. It was 7 stitches per inch.
Okay, you said 8.
8, I'm sorry. 8 inches per stitch unblocked, and then it's 7.5 blocked.
Got it.
So it's a little, and it was like to the point where I didn't think like adjusting up and down a needle size would help that much.
Right.
And I also really like how this looks in terms of the density of it.
Well, and I mean, that a half a stitch does make a difference over the like body of a sweater or something. Yeah. But it sounds like you've accounted for that.
I've accounted for it, so I'm doing a little bit less in terms of the inches, and then I'm also knitting a size down.
Gotcha.
So I think it'll be just dandy.
So I don't see. Oh my gosh, Harris, what are you doing?
Doesn't matter.
So, it's Aran weight.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Aran weight. The pattern called for worsted weight, but I find it worsted and Aran to be pretty close.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the yarn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So anyway, really liking it.
That yarn reads greener than I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to be a little too speckledy.
Yeah.
But it reads almost green tweed.
Yeah.
Even though it's not tweed.
And it's going to go with all of my shirts.
It really will.
So I'm really excited.
It's a very you color palette.
Right. And I think it's also going to, so I think it's going to be a very kind of like nice fit.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. Anyway, it's the Drake pattern. It's by Todd Gocken, Gocken. Harris, what are you doing, buddy?
He's playing with his toys.
Okay, that's good.
Is that his ducky?
Yeah, it's got his duck back out. So, yes. So I finished that first bit, and I've started on the second sleeve. So,
fun.
Super fun. The nice thing about doing the bottom-up sweaters.
But you've never really done one successfully, have you?
A bottom-up sweater? Yeah, I did the 2 Leon News for the twins were bottom-ups.
Oh, okay. But not one for yourself.
Not one for myself. I've never actually, this is my first bottom-up sweater for me, but...
Poor Harris wants to play so badly.
I know. But the nice thing about doing the bottom-up, you do sleeves first, and you don't do the thing you have to do your sleeves. You do the sleeves first.
Who was talking about that?
That was that guy who is from Toronto or...
Urban Yarn?
No.
Oh, no. It was Sticks Plus Twine.
Sticks Plus Twine was talking about that with his sweater.
You don't end up on
Sleeve Island, yeah.
Eric from Sticks Plus Twine.
Sure.
All right, well, I'm going to talk about my acquisitions, and then you can talk about your acquisitions.
Yep.
Did you? Oh, yeah, you did. Okay.
I've got one little acquisition.
Okay, so all of my acquisitions are from Joann's when I went that time with my friend Shannon. So, except for one. So, first of all, I bought a packet of knitting magazines, and I'm curious if people like what magazines, because I know there's like Rowan, which I think that's quarterly, and it's not even really a magazine. That's like
I call Rowan like aspirational knits.
Yeah.
Like, cause I'm doing that one sweater from Rowan, the Thorn. It's gonna be. I mean, maybe I'll get it done this year, but it's their stuff is very beautiful.
Then there's Vogue knitting. I don't know how often that comes out.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering if there's any knitting magazines that people subscribe to that are good ones. This one came with 2 called Simply Knitting and Birdo Knitting. They look to be monthly, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
This one looks like it's got British pounds, so I wonder if it's from the UK. And then this one is Burdo knitting, which I don't know what Burdo means.
Was it kind of yarn?
I haven't even looked in to see. Couldn't even really tell what was in this packet. Joann's ate a packet of like 2 or 3 knitting magazines. What's so funny?
Do you remember back in the day when you would go and buy the packet of adult magazines?
No.
You never did that?
No.
Back before the internet, when one had to find stuff otherwise, you could go into maybe it's a New York thing, but you go into like stores and they'd have like 3 or 4 like old magazines all put together in the same sleeve, and they're like, from a couple of months ago, but like who cares, right?
Oh my god.
What?
Which was funny.
Yeah.
I never did that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I mean, and then there's nothing for men in this Burdo knitting, specifically. I mean, there's some scarves and stuff, and there's some stuff I could maybe do as a gift. But anyway,
I feel like there's this weird thing. So there's the ones that like Brooklyn Tweed is a quarterly something, right? Don't they release like?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
I feel like they do, but I mean, I don't know if you subscribe to it or not.
Well, some it's like you can always find patterns on Ravelry, but I'm more interested in like a magazine where it like has interviews with designers and stuff like that. I mean, because this one has an interview with Rosso Cardinale, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Dario Tubiana.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, I see. Anyway, just curious. The other thing I bought, this was from a used bookstore, and I think we might have talked about this book because you got it out of the library before. But this it's called Knit Your Own Dog, and it's got like it's stuffed animals, and it's got a little, it's got, what is it? Oh, no, that's the page numbers. I don't know how many dogs it has. What does it say? How many dogs? 25 pedigree pooches. So you can knit them for gifts for people that have dogs, and you can modify it to... You can get close to...
Do they have pit bull pointer mixes?
No, well, they do. I think they do have pit bulls.
Yeah.
Maybe. No, they don't have pit bulls. I looked.
Yeah. I think
pit bulls aren't really a breed, are they?
Well, they sort of become one. So there's a second version of that. There's a second edition that has the pointer in it. So that's what I got from the library.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, it didn't cost very much. It's by Sally Muir and Joanna Osborne.
Yeah.
And I love knitting stuffed animals. This one came out in 2011. So yeah. All right. So then. The last thing I got was this. I love organization stuff. And this is it's a needle holder. And it's got large and medium and small little pockets in it. And it's Big Twist Storage BT Big Twist Yarn Tool Organizer Case. And it's a Joann brand. I see Big Twist is a Joann brand.
And that's gonna be for DPNs, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Which are currently
thrown into a Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think, for sure here. Oh, and I guess then the ones that, I don't know. It just feels like you couldn't put any in here.
I mean, really big ones, like.
No.
I don't know. We'll figure it out sometime.
We'll figure it out. But anyway, I just thought it was pretty, and I just wanted to buy something.
Cool.
Well, I bought it. So, you said you have acquisitions.
So this is less of an acquisition than a got acquisition. So, well, I didn't acquire it. We got
the name that you just made up for that was pretty hilarious, and it made me laugh.
Okay. Got acquisition?
Yes.
So we did this yarn cruise a couple of weeks ago, and then a few weeks afterwards,
it was like a month and a half ago.
And then a package showed up on our doorstep, addressed to me.
Keep going.
And it was from Burnsville, Minnesota. And it is
someone named Deborah.
And the only clue is it has my name and post-it note inside of it. And it's a bunch of little mini hanks, which are super cute. Oh my god. Misty alpaca, hand-painted silk, ragaton. Oh, it's all this. So anyway, so they sort of showed up on our doorstep. I think they're a door prize from the cruise we went on, because otherwise someone just sent me yarn and knew my last name.
And knew your address.
And knew my address. So I assume these were door prizes from...
And they're from Minnesota.
They're from Minnesota. So from the Knit the River knitting cruise we went on. So they're really pretty, though.
Did you Google her or anything?
No. I thought that'd be rude.
Why are you so dismissive? Now.
That'd be rude.
That's not rude. You could find out, like, if she works for some store, or if she owns a store, and then you could be like, "Oh my God, I love the minis you sent. I'm so glad I won them in the door prize, and that you mailed them to me, because it cost her money to mail them when she could have just handed them to you at the Knit the River if you had looked at your phone."
You're so mean.
I'm sorry. No, I don't mean to be mean. I need to keep you in line.
Whatever. So anyway,
I want to make you a better person.
Oh, honey, it's too late. So anyway, these are super cute.
What are the colorways?
They're not. It's called...
Oh.
This is called Ragaton.
Oh, it's probably the name of the collection then, I guess.
Right. So this is this color. This is this color. This is this color. This is this color. And this is this color.
How many grams and yards and all that is the collection? Does it say?
No. So it's normally 470. These are all fingering weight.
Okay, so they're 20 grams each. It's 100 grams altogether. So you could make a pair of socks with that if you wanted, or do a one skein project of some kind.
That'd be kind of a fun thing to do. You could do striped socks. I don't know. Anyway, thank you, Deborah, whoever you are. I'm assuming it's the door prize.
Yeah. So if not, it's creepy.
Well, I mean, it's like a murder doll showing up at your house, right? So yeah, fun.
All right. Okay, so it's time to talk about our best friend,
who just turned 96.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about a movie that... What can we say about this movie?
So we watched Mutiny.
I think
Was there an exclamation point? I can't remember.
I fell asleep. I could have fallen asleep.
Right.
It was boring as all hell.
It wasn't that boring. It just wasn't. It wasn't the most exciting movie that we've watched in our Angela Lansbury film series. So
it was made in 55.
52.
52.
So what do we know about it? So
she would have been 37.
Yes. Yeah. So she was.
She played a villain.
She was playing her age. She was third billing or second billing. I think it was third billing. We took a picture.
Yeah, that we did.
Nothing happens with cats.
No fiber arts.
Except
they're a bunch of sailors. They probably knitted. I mean, they probably
made some ropes.
Made knots.
Yeah, probably. So what do we have to say this movie? So this movie is set in the War of 1812. The British are the bad guys. And
the Americans are the good guys.
Big surprise. And it involves, they're trying to, it's this like merchant, they're doing this like special ops. It's special ops, but in the 1812s. And they are going to France to...
1812s?
In the 1812s.
Okay.
And they're picking up some gold bullion. Bullion?
Bouillon. Chicken gold bouillon.
Some consomme. Gold consomme. They're picking up gold from France. And long story...
Spoiler alert. they hid it by making the anchor out of gold.
Right. Which seemed like...
And covered it up with black paint or something.
Which seems like, wouldn't that be like really soft?
Well, and it would be like, oh, oops, the rope got caught on something.
Yeah. I don't know, whatever. So there's basically the guy...
Just hearing the recap makes me bored.
So the guy who's second in command, there's some history. He goes to France. Angela Lansbury's his ex-girlfriend who's living in France. He persuades her to come back on the boat with her. With him. And she discovers the gold's there, and she's like, oh,
Women being on a ship is bad luck.
I know. And she decides that Leslie, who is her name, she decides that she wants the gold for herself. And she works with the other sailors to
She doesn't like her boyfriend anymore because he's a loser, because he's second in command on the boat.
Right, and he has no money. So he basically persuaded her to come back to America with him, and she's like, oh.
And these are not our feelings. These are things that happen in the movie.
Yeah. Anyway, so...
I don't think that women on a ship are bad luck. That was what they said.
Right. So she works with the people on the board, incites the mutiny. Shenanigans happen.
She's manipulative.
So she does. So here's the Angela Lansbury, which I've discovered is there's something about her that is inherently sort of. She plays mean and selfish real good. Like, I think the movies that I've enjoyed her the most in have been like this, The Manchurian Candidate, where she's...
The Manchurian Candidate gives me chills.
Yeah.
About how evil she was.
So, like, she's really good at playing characters that have an undercurrent of hardness and evil to them, which is why I think you never trusted Jessica Fletcher. She seems nice.
Did I never trust her?
Well, you watch Murder, She Wrote, and she's like, I'm Jessica Fletcher, I'm super nice. But she's also super, 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 super... Nosy and intense. And there's a reason people think she's a serial killer. So...
Maybe she is. Maybe Angela Lansbury is a serial killer.
I doubt that. She seems in real life very pleasant. But she's really good in it. The other actors are fine.
Was there anybody else famous in it?
Nope.
Would I go
out and watch this movie for anything that says to Angela Lansbury marathon?
We didn't know. I was excited. I was like, ooh, 1952. It's a movie about the War of 1812, which I don't know crap about the War of 1812.
British are bad.
Well, British are always bad.
That was the War of 1812, so the British said, like, here's what happens when we actually want to kick your ass. We're going to burn down the... Oh, sorry.
Beep!
We're going to burn down the White House. Dolly Madison would be like, gonna help, let me get all the stuff out.
Well, and that was when, like...
That was when we tried to liberate Canada.
We tried to liberate Canada.
And Canada's like, thanks, we're good.
Off.
We're good.
Yeah.
So,
when was the French and Indian War?
That was before the Revolutionary War. That's 1760s.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when's the Spanish-American War?
That is... Oh, God. That's like the 1840s?
Were we?
No. The Mexican-American War, the Spanish-American War is like the late 1800s, early 1900s. That's Teddy Roosevelt. That's where he... Oh, yeah, That's the Rough Riders and the Charge of the Hill. So there's been lots of wars that I don't think we all talk. I mean, it's like every few years America's in a war, which I know it's like, oh, American, who got history from American schools. Like, oh yeah, big light bulb moment for you. But I forget it's usually Revolutionary, Civil War, World War I, really tiny, World War II. Vietnam, yeah. That's what we learn about in school. But there are a bunch of other ones that we got to do, which and we talked about. You mean the Revolutionary War, the War of Northern Aggression? No, dear. That's the Civil War. No, the War of Northern Aggression. The Revolutionary War? Revolutionary War, the War of Northern Aggression. Oh, you have a comment in there. Yes. You're not calling the Revolutionary War the War of Northern Aggression. No, that makes no sense. You called it the Civil War, and I'm referring to it as the War of Northern Aggression. Right. Or the rebellion of the British of the colonies, the colony rebellion. Right. Anyway,
it was boring. Don't watch it.
And the print wasn't great.
Oh yeah, it hadn't been redone.
We watched it on YouTube, I think.
Yeah. It hadn't been remastered. I was thinking, I remember it was like it was dark or something, but yeah, it was dark and it was fuzzy and the aspect ratio was...
Yeah. Not the best movie we watched. I'm not the worst. That would be The Life and Times of Moll Flanders.
That sex one.
Yeah.
Comedy sex
that we did not finish.
No.
Is that the only one we haven't finished?
Yes.
Okay. So, I would give it... Oh! But it does connect to Death on the Nile because Angela Lansbury goes on a boat and gets shot.
Oh, right.
So,
that's
spoiler.
Right.
So that's a new thing. Does Angela Lansbury get shot in a boat? I mean...
What billing is she? Is she playing her age? Are cats injured?
And
is there fiber arts? And does she get shot on a boat?
Well, I mean, does she die through like horrible violence? Because I think that's also.
Does she not die through? Yes.
I mean, because Sweeney Todd, she gets thrown in an oven.
Oh, that's right.
In that Sansom Delilah thing, she just gets speared.
Oh, that's right. She was in it for like 5 seconds.
Right.
What was the one? There's Death on the Nile. What was the one where... Oh, I'm never going to remember it. Oh, well.
You got to be a little more than that.
I know. How did she die in Manchurian Candidate? Do we know?
She got shot by her son. I mean,
then she got that horrible STD in the Ireland one. The Green Love or whatever it was. I'm just kidding.
That's not
the one where she like...
Fell in love with
the priest.
Yeah. So anyway, that was Mutiny, 1952.
Dumb.
I mean, just not the best. How'd you like to push spoon with me?
Don't start. What was that one?
That was Till Clouds Roll By.
That's right. As Clouds Roll By.
Unnamed British singer.
Unnamed...
British special, I think. I can't remember.
Yeah.
So we're watching next week. Or
Didn't she get run over by a train in Harvey Girls?
No, but that would have been...
That's what we should do, is go back and imagine how she died. And she was run through with a sword in Three Musketeers.
No, she wasn't.
She was pushed under the grindstone. Okay, what now?
So for next week,
yes,
we're watching The Company of Wolves.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Which is a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh.
By Neil Jordan.
Is that the guy, the playwright?
No, he did The Crying Game.
I'm thinking of Neil Simon.
Yeah, that'd be very different.
Yes.
It's from like 1982, and it is.
She got pushed off a cliff in Pirates of Penzance.
I would imagine this one she's probably devoured by a wolf at some point.
Yes.
So The Company of Wolves is our next Angela Lansbury movie.
That sounds good.
That'll be fun.
Yes. All right.
I'm trying to think of other ones she died in, but I can't remember. Yes. All right.
She fell and was impaled on a newel post on a bed in Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
She was burnt to death in gaslight. Oh, and in the picture of Dorian Gray, didn't she drown herself? I can't remember. Her character committed suicide.
I think she drank paint. All right, this is devolving.
It is devolving.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Thank y'all.
Please come back for more creative ways that Angela Lansbury died.
Yeah, I'm gonna put money on Eaten by Wolves in this one.
And have a good couple weeks, and we will see you soon. Yes.
Speaking of death, so you're gonna talk about process sinners.
We'll have to work that in next time.
It's all good.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye, y'all.